no matter what. I always had people with me at my home when he would drop them off. He made me severely uncomfortable. Um, Imagine having to give your little toddler over to someone that made you feel that way.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome back to the Another Nobody podcast with me, your favorite nobody, Travis Myers. Today we got a tough story for you. We have with us Brandi Morey-Pols and Heidi Britton-Zent, who are going to tell us a little bit about the Rowan Project and the murder-suicide of Brandi's beautiful 6-year-old son, Rowan Morey-Pols, by his father, Michael Winchell, which took place in Michigan just a little more than, about a year and a half ago, which would have been back in August of 2024. Here, my friends, are Brandi and Heidi. Heidi and Brandi, how are we doing today?
I'm all right. Pretty
We're
good.
all right. Okay. Well, we have some tough stuff to talk about. Okay. And
Yep.
I'm not really sure. I mean, you guys are doing some tremendous work together, and we're going to kind of end with that. But unfortunately, we have to start with some pretty dark stuff. And I don't
Yes.
know exactly, Brandi, where you want to start, but it's up to you.
Well, I mean, I was a divorced mom. I had 3 older kids. They're pretty much grown, and I found myself pregnant at 42. I
Yeah.
think there is an age gap between my oldest and Rowan, who we're gonna talk about, at least 20 years. I was taking him on campus tours while I was pregnant, and
Yes.
he was so angry. Um, no, and I'm not gonna say the man's name because I don't believe he deserves any more clout than my son was more important than the man that did this.
I understand that, and I respect that.
So I became pregnant with this man, and he didn't really get into the picture till about a year and a half in. And when he did,
Which
I
was a
told
year and
him,
a half after your son's birth.
yes, he was a year and a half old.
So
Yep,
Rowan is a year and a half old before
he got involved.
he got
Yes,
involved at all. Right.
yes. And I had been divorced, so I knew how things went, and I knew what that did to children. And I told him, I go, I don't want your money. I just want to get along. Let's give this kid the best life we can together,
Yes.
right? And that lasted maybe 3 months. And then the long text started of saying what better life I could have with him, what he would do for me. And I virtually tried to keep it like nice, but gentle, and just tell him, you know what, I believe Rowan will have a better life if we're a good team and do this together and focus on him. He did not take that very well. And that's when all the nasty messages started, all the put downs started, stalking started. Um, I think this is 6 months in. I woke up to a text message saying, if you needed $10,000 for such and such a bank, why didn't you tell me? And my heart stopped because that's where my car loan was.
Yes.
How do you know that?
Right.
I mean, I'm not smart enough to know that kind of stuff, how to get into people's stuff. But at that moment, I knew he was really digging into me, and he wasn't focusing on Rowan. And it just escalated from there. Like, I would get texts like, what, you're not going to Cheers tonight? That was a pub I would go to on Wednesday nights with my girlfriends to have wing night.
Yes.
How does a man without a license know where I'm at?
Right.
Like, and we'll get to why he didn't have one, but, and then he would talk about a guy I'd been on a date with or vacations I had gone on where I didn't tell anyone where I was going. Like, he knew things that other people didn't know. He would, I mean, he FOIA'd me, so he knew things from 20 years previous.
Yes.
Like, I've never felt so stalked in my life. Like, I know he sent me a message one night saying something so disturbing, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but I had a 3-story condo. I got up and went all the way down to the basement to make sure the basement window was shut and locked And then
Yes.
I came up and put a chair under the door. Well, then when things got escalated really bad and he knew I was not going to be with him, he stopped seeing Rowan altogether. And that
Mhm.
was within the first 10 months of knowing him. And he he almost virtually said,
So at this not to interrupt,
"Go
but
ahead."
try to keep the timeline straight. So now Roan is about 2.5 years old at this stage of the
Yep,
game. Yes.
yep,
Okay.
yes. And so then I I didn't hear from him, see him for 5 months. I just went back to living my life, going to work, taking care of my baby, and then I was served at work. And he wanted 50-50 custody.
Mhm.
And so I went and I got an attorney that day, and my attorney told me that nowadays, because I've been through court before, that nowadays it's almost you everyone gets 50-50,
Yes.
and it never used to be that way. Well, then after that, COVID happened. So I think it was 8 weeks into COVID, I got breast cancer, and I mean, I'm wrapped up in all this stuff, going through all my treatments and my surgeries and trying to do stuff with my attorney to finalize this. It took almost a year to finalize that,
Yes.
and I agreed to everything. And my attorney couldn't even understand it. He's like, "I don't get it. Why is he fighting?" I'm like, "You're not listening to me. It's because I don't want to be with him,
Yes.
and he's going to make it difficult." Well, finally, I think it was January of or December of 2019. So our order started in 2020, I do believe, and it was 50-50. It did not go over easy, no matter what. I always had people with me at my home when he would drop them off. He made me severely uncomfortable. Um, Imagine having to give your little toddler over to someone that made you feel that way.
I can't imagine it. No, I can't.
Exactly.
I
It
can't.
just I had to compartmentalize in my mind where he was over there
Mhm.
because I was just sick with worry. He wouldn't allow any communications, no phone calls, no FaceTimes, nothing. So I'm virtually my kid's gone for a week and I never got to see or speak to him. Um, it was a lot of coercive control through him. I think he shaved Rowan's head for the very first time in 2020 because I was a hairstylist, but I had to adjourn court because I was having my mastectomy.
Yes.
So he returned my toddler completely bald.
Yeah. And now if correct me if I'm wrong, this was the first time, but it was
Yes.
not the only time that he shaved his head.
No. No.
And
Uh,
he did that completely to be spiteful to you. It had nothing
yes.
to do with giving the child a
Yes.
haircut.
It was every single time around big family events also, like, my oldest son, the campus kid, he got married in 2021, and he knew that Rowan was gonna be in that wedding, and the week before, he completely shaved him again.
Yes.
Um, any big family event, Rowan would have a hat on because he didn't like it.
Mhm.
He, it just it was just awful. So then, finally, the last time he did that, I think was in 2024, January of 2024. No, January of 2023, sorry. Um, it was 27 degrees out on January 9th. I remember it plain as day because he dropped him off and he had this winter hat on, big winter hat. And he came in, he wasn't acting the same. He was just really quiet. And every time that that man would do this to my son, I never reacted. I
Sure.
never gave up. I didn't want to make him feel worse. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And this time was different. He'd been in school for 2 years. He he was he didn't like it. And it wasn't until later that night I went to give Rowan a bath. And after he got out of the bath, he stood there and just stared at himself in the mirror and started to cry. And he's like, "Mom, I look funny." And I said, "No, baby, you don't. You look beautiful. You just got a lot more face."
Yeah. Yeah.
And he smiled, but the fact, like, I had to email the teachers and talk to the principal and be like, "Listen, this is a little sensitive for him. He obviously didn't want it." So the first few times he did that, I put Rowan in therapy because he started acting out, and I knew that the courts wouldn't take it serious. It's a haircut. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes.
Well, I took him to therapy. I tried mediation with that man. I did therapy at the schools. I talked to the teachers. I was very proactive about it because the very first time he did it, I sat there and I went, Dear God, if he's willing to do this, what the fuck else is he going to do?
Yeah.
Right? I
Yes.
knew it. I mean, that's
Well,
very outward movement.
let me ask you now too. So we've covered quite a bit of time here now. You know,
Yeah.
because he's Rowan is now what, about 5 years old. You said
Yep. Just
he's
about
at
five.
least in kindergarten at this
Yep.
stage of the game, right?
Yep. Yes.
And um, this man is still trying to get with you the entire time, though, right? Is
Yes.
he's still, you know, although he's being spiteful and mean to you and to Rowan, at the same time, his intentions are to pull you
Yes.
back into his life.
Yes.
Yeah.
And whenever it didn't work, it was just fallout, massive fallout.
Yeah.
And he would always try to make a situation where I would have to show up and be around him, and I refused to do that. So, um, let's I'm gonna jog back just for a minute. I put Rowan in preschool. In the state of Michigan, you have to be 6 years old to be where you have to go to school. Well,
Yes.
in preschool or DK, he was only 5. So for 2 years, it was pre-K and DK, 2 years. Rowan only went to the school that when he was with me on my days. He didn't take him to school for 2 years. It blew my mind.
So 2 years, he only went to school every other week.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
again, that was pre-kindergarten and kindergarten.
Yes.
Yes.
So every field trip, I remember he had a Christmas recital his first year, and he didn't get to go. And the kids had, like, their little hands made into antlers and stuff, and
Yes, yes.
I kept telling myself, I'm like, "Well, he'll have more of those in the future." And that didn't happen. He didn't participate in anything. He never took him to doctor's appointments. He never did anything. He just cut off all communications. He made co-parenting very difficult. It was
Yes.
very high conflict. And when I say high conflict, it was him. I never fought for anything. I only took him to court one time, and that was for phone privileges, and I was denied.
And these, again, phone privileges so that you could speak to your son on his
And
weeks.
yep, and he could too. It was for both of us, and it was denied.
Yeah.
What a joke.
I don't
Like,
I don't wanna jump ahead of the story at all, but when you say it was denied, all of this happened, I assume, with the same judge, correct?
that denial was through the, friend of the court referee,
Okay.
and that was, Jennifer Galloway.
Alright.
So, the other times we were in court, it was in the higher court through Judge Eric James,
Yes.
and we went that high because we were fighting about schools once Rowan once he was 6 years old and had to be in school.
Yes.
He hadn't taken him in 2 years, like, and it went all the way up to be appealed in front of Judge Eric James. I think and that man represented himself, and he had me on the stand for over 2 hours.
Mhm.
Would yell at me, slam his hand on the desk. He approached me several times. My
And for
well,
our listeners, just in case they missed, that man is Rowan's father that we're talking about, not the
yes,
judge or anybody else in court.
yes,
This is him
and
representing himself
you could
and
say his name, but I'm not going to.
berating you on the stand.
Yes,
Yes.
and he was told several times to stop approaching me, and at the end of that, it took 2, 3 hours. Judge Eric James screamed and yelled at me for calling CPS because that's for children who need it, and praised that man for how good he was at, representing himself.
Yes.
So,
Well, if I'm not mistaken now, and this is not coming from one of our conversations, it's coming from another, interview that I had read, or rather an article I had
yes,
read, that he accused you of misusing the system.
Yes.
The
Yes.
the judge did, Judge
Yes.
Eric Janes.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Um, and then not long after that, I got married, and that made things really difficult. That's when he sent him home completely bald and he was crying.
Yes.
Um, so in the transition of moving in with my husband, which is about an hour and a half away from where we did live, we retained an attorney and we were going for full custody of Rowan.
Mhm.
Actually, I was going to go for a change of custody, but once my attorney saw all the evidence I had and all the documents, he's like, "We're not going for a change. We're going for everything."
Yes.
He's like, "This man should not even have."
Well, and you had done the right thing too, when you had all your paperwork and documentation straight. It wasn't like you went in there with without any evidence. You knew what you were
I had it
talking about,
all.
and it
Yes.
was plain to see to everybody.
And we had a court date set for September 5th. So all that year, January 24 up until August, we had been in mediation with that man.
Yeah.
I do believe he faked that he had an attorney. I don't believe he actually did. We don't. And at one point, I do believe it was in May, just before school let out, he sent they sent us a letter saying he'd agreed to move to where we're at.
Mhm.
But he wasn't gonna drive him anywhere, he wasn't gonna participate in sports, he wasn't gonna pay for anything, and we were like, "Yes,
Yes.
by all means." And you know what really sucks is that for, like, half a minute, I thought, "You know what? He'll get to come see him play golf. He'll get
Yes.
to see him in his sports. He'll get to be involved. Maybe he'll just start being involved." My heart just settled a little for a little bit,
Yeah,
but then
you wanted to wish the best. You wanted the best to happen,
I thought
you
he could
know?
have everything for my son, could have everything. And 3 days later, he recanted,
Yeah.
and it was just like, "Here we go." And I'm like, "You know what? I've been ready for it for years. Let's go," because I had everything, and I do believe he knew that he was going to lose, and it was very strange all summer long because he didn't have a license because of a it was a DUI that caused massive bodily injury. He hit 2 people,
Mhm.
and he broke his own back and hip, in 2018, and I don't believe he was ever gonna get his license back. And please know throughout these whole years, anything that Rowan had going on, I'm like, "I will come and get him. I will bring him back to you. I will do all the driving, whatever you need me to do." Denied, denied, denied. Actually threatened that he would, file charges if I stepped on his property,
Yes.
that or any of my children. So, this last summer that he was still with us,
So what and just to show how petty this silliness is, you have to go pick up or drop off your son at his address. What do? You have to stand in the middle of the street?
no, so it's set up as or it was, that I would drop him off at his house at the end of my parenting time, and then he would do the same.
Right.
I offered. Now remember, he didn't have a license. So when it was his time was over and he had to drop him to me, he was riding a bike with a trailer behind it and my son in it on very busy roads in the dead of winter, nighttime, daytime, whenever it was. He refused to let me come and get him to make sure he's safe. It, I was terrified.
Yes.
I hated that so fucking much. So then come the summer of 2024, we go, was it week on, week off, and then we get a vacation with him, whatever. Well, he was taking his bike with the trailer to Central Michigan University, getting a bus that goes to another bus to go to a hotel over here on Sunday night, stay in the hotel, and took a Uber here. He did that all summer long.
Right.
That is the most insane, like,
It's
w-
what a wildly difficult way to do something.
and I offered. I
Yes.
even told him, I go, my mom still lives up there. She'll grab him and I'll come get him from her. Nothing. That's how deep rooted and sick his vengeance was for me.
Yes.
And it just wasn't obvious to the courts or anybody else. So we did. We got ready. We got prepared to take him to court September 5th. And we were in the week on, week off. And Rowan, uh, I dropped him off August 12th. And he has like a circle drive. Well, here's the garage. That man was standing outside the garage with his body half towards me and looking at me. And I'm like, it just felt very off and disturbing. I gave Rowan kisses all over his face and I hugged him and I said, what I always say, how much does mommy love you? And he's like, too much.
Yeah.
Uh, and that was the last hug I ever got from him.
I'm sorry, honey. Take your time.
Thank you. um, he was supposed to be home August 19th at 9 a.m. per the court order that Judge Eric James signed in 2020, 9 a.m. to 9 a.m. each Monday.
Mhm.
And I don't, mothers know, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, I'd always come down and sit in our front window and wait for him. And he wasn't here at 9:03. And I knew, I knew something was, I knew something was really bad. I couldn't get it out of my head. And he had not returned him from hours before. He's done this 2 or 3 times before. No communication, no nothing. And so I call the police and I'm scared to death. Where's my child?
Of course.
Well, what did that do? It teed him up he was building this situation to where, okay, he's missing, but I'm the crazy one.
Yes.
So when come ninth,
It gets to be where he's missing again. He's missing again. Rowan's missing again. There's nothing new about this. She's missing
yeah,
again.
exactly.
Gotcha.
So 9:03 that morning, I'm like, this is different. It just set different. This wasn't one of those times he was going to be missing for a few hours. This felt like I had something stuck in my throat. Like I
Yes.
just couldn't take a deep breath. It became 9:30. I called my attorney because in Michigan you get like a half hour leeway,
Mhm.
if your car is broken down or a bus or, weather, whatever.
Well,
And
it's to be reasonable. It's understandable.
right.
Yes.
And there's no communication in those 30 minutes, which there was not. I was calling and emailing everything. Nothing. Um, so at 9:30 I called my attorney and he's like, get in touch with friend of the court. So I did. For some reason too, my caseworker who knows this case very well, they took it kind of scary. Like they took action and she got her supervisor involved. Her supervisor called me. I'm like, do I call the police? She goes, yes, you know what? I believe you should. So I did. And it was the Isabella County Sheriff's. And he's like, all right, we'll do a wellness check, because he's not been returned again. And so they went out there. I do believe it was 10:28 that day. Lights are all off. All vehicles are there. And no one answered the door, nothing. The guy calls me back, that sheriff called me back and told me that and said, try us back again at 6 o'clock if you haven't gotten him.
Yeah.
Dude, that kid's missing. There's no communication with all the technology we have in this day and age. That kid's missing. Like, there's no reason. This was on
Mhm.
purpose. And it obviously was because this has been his thing. So I do believe around 11 something, I started to panic. I called my husband. I called my attorney back. I'm like, I don't know what to do here. My husband came home. I do believe my stepson did too. Um, and then I think I called them back. I can't remember what time that day. It was well before 6. And they were telling me the same thing. Okay, we'll do a wellness check here in a little bit. We'll do this, we'll do that. And my husband and I were just panicked.
Yes.
And that's when they told us to call Kent County Sheriffs, where we live now. And we're like confused because that's not where he was when he
Well,
went
and
missing.
they have no jurisdiction.
Exactly, exactly. But it didn't make sense, but we did it anyway. And it was getting later in the day. And Kent County Sheriffs were great. They were really great. He showed up. He had already found the 5 phone numbers that man had when that man had lied to me and said, "I don't have a cell phone." He had 2 or 3, and then a landline, and then I don't know what the other one was, but that Kent County Sheriff had already found 5
Yes.
and tried them all. Um, he suggested that we go up there and talk to them, and it was getting later and later, and I'm like, "Okay." I I called my friends who my one of my best friends, Deanna, who is a social worker, and she goes, "You get your butt up there now and get in front of their faces and let them know how serious this situation is." So on the first night missing, I think we got up there past midnight. I think it was around 1.
That's
1,
what I have seen, that 1 o'clock in the morning is when you've shown up, yes.
yeah, yeah, and they didn't let us even come in the building. They came out, and there's body cam footage of this. I know you've seen it. And I'm just describing to them the high conflict situation. This isn't like him to take him like this long with no communication. Like, this is serious. And my stepson, like, even like chimed in and was like, he gets really nervous, and my little brother doesn't. He just doesn't like to go. And he was even stuttering a little because he was upset.
Sure.
He was 13 at the time, and I just gave him a hug. And that's when my husband said, "Bryson, take her to the car. I want to talk to the sheriff alone." I had no clue what he was going to say to them. Quite frankly, I'm glad I didn't then, because I was so busy in my mind wondering where my son was to give 2 thoughts to what he was saying. And that was 1:30. Um, by the next morning, my husband and my stepson stayed here in case he showed up, and I drove an hour and a half back to my attorney's office crazy early in the morning. And he'd already been there, and he's already putting paperwork together and got stuff for me to sign, and he's like, "All right, we're going to the courthouse now." And I went with him. We filed, it's called an emergency ex parte motion to get
Mhm.
Rowan back that would go in front of the judge. And that's my question, why did I need his signature again? Didn't he sign that in 2020 saying 9 a.m. to 9 a.m.? I don't. And so we agonized all day trying to come up with other things to do. And I sat at my mom's for a while, and my Aunt Carrie, who's a Mountie, like, she rides horses and looks for missing children up in a county close to Isabel County. And my Aunt Carrie called and she goes, "Don't you sit there and let the sheriffs handle this. You get your butt up to the state police now." And that's why we were waiting for that motion, right? So we did. We went to the state police. And I go to the window and I'm explaining everything that's going on. And the guy's like, "Whoa, how long's he been missing?" And he gets up and, and he comes out and comes around, and I start telling him everything. And he's like, I could tell he was taking it serious, right?
Yes.
And um, he goes, "Okay, we're going to go out there and do a wellness check. We come back with nothing. We're going to list him as missing. We're going to get it, all to the other stations. We're going to do this, that, and the other." Because at this point, we had been told by the sheriffs um, for Isabel County several times, it's almost impossible to get an Amber Alert. Trust me, how many times you think about that when your kid's missing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I went to the state police, and I stood at that window, or I talked to that guy, and he's like, told me they were going to go do that. I'm like, God, yes, right? Someone finally listening to us.
And so now
And
the state police did take a missing persons report.
no.
They did not.
So they went to go do a wellness check. And I ran outside to call my best friends, just shake, or my mom and my friends, and be like, "Yes, he's gonna be listed as missing. They're doing something, da 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 da." I was that excited. I went back into the state police, and I could hear the dispatcher that had been involved the whole time from the sheriff's department. Same girl, I do believe her name was Rachel, on the radio with the state police and go, "We've already spoken with her. This is a civil matter. Send her on her way." And that's exactly how she sounded.
Yes.
And I went screaming up to the window. I'm like, "No, no, 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 no." I'm like, "Please, no, 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 no. You were going to list him as missing because we were this fucking close, right?"
Yes.
And then nothing.
Nothing at all.
Yep. So my husband and Bryson and I left and we went to go get something to eat, which I couldn't. I just sat there. And that's when I got a phone call from my attorney around 3:30ish that the judge denied the motion also.
Yes. And again, this is the same judge, Eric Janes, who's
Yes.
been involved from the beginning. And he denied the motion for the Amber Alert.
He denied the motion for the emergency ex parte motion that could have gotten Rowan home. And that would have given us an Amber Alert.
Oh.
So yeah, the, I can't even put into words the desperation, the sinking of your stomach, there's what
Oh,
do
no,
I do now?
all life just drains right out of your body, I know,
It did.
you know?
It did. But I wasn't done fighting.
Mhm.
I'm on the phone with my friends. I'm like, "You know what? You call anyone and everyone you know in news, radio, anything. Get me on there because I'm going to put it everywhere," which I already had. And he started going viral for missing in Michigan. It was getting pretty big. Um, and then we had to drive home without him. It was twice because we did Monday night and Tuesday. It was the fucking worst. Ugh. And I didn't sleep or eat the whole time he was missing. I think it was like 4 or 5 in the morning. My older grown children were calling me, and my daughter's bawling. She's like, "Mom, where's my brother?"
Yes.
So then I find myself having to comfort my own kids. Because then 2 seconds later, her big brother Bailey calls, and he's like, "Mom, what's going on?" I'm like, and I'm having to console them and tell them, "It's gonna be fine. We're gonna find him. He'll come home. It's gonna be fine." So then I got up that morning, well, got out of bed since I didn't sleep, and, I think a news station over by Detroit, one around here, one around mid Michigan had started reaching out to me, and I'm like, "Okay," and I'm on the phone with my best friends. I'm like, "This is what we're doing." Like, I still had fire in me. I'm like, "I'm getting my son back," you know? And my best friend Annie was like, "Listen, sugar, you've done all you can. All we have to do now is wait. So I suggest you go about your day as usual. Keep your appointment that you have at noon, and then we'll see when the news stations get back with us." So I did. I left just a little before noon. My appointment was right down the road, and I got done with my appointment, and I was waiting in line to check out, and I look on my phone, and my best friend Annie calls. She goes, "Look, it's happening. It's happening. The tribe is posting him as missing." I'm like, "Yes,
Great.
finally!"
Uh,
Like my heart sung. I'm like, "Yes, this is happening." I finally had some hope back, right? And then I turned down my street, and 2 houses down from me, there was an unmarked Kent County Sheriff's car and a marked one. This is how oblivious I was. I got home, and my husband was working on the deck when I left. So I walked right through the garage to go out to him and kind of be a gossipy neighbor and be like, "Oh my God, the sheriffs are at the neighbor's house," you know? That's how oblivious I was.
yes.
And I walked in my house. My office is right here. I have a living room there and a living room on the other side of my kitchen. I walked around this way and I saw my stepson Bryson pacing back and forth with this woman I didn't know. I still didn't. And I turned the corner. I saw my pastor, probably about 8 Kent County sheriffs, my parents, my husband crying. And it was like a full metal wall just hit me. And I fell to the ground screaming. And even when I got to my feet, I'm like, this isn't real. This isn't like, how can are you- this can't be real. And I just kept screaming at one of the sheriffs. I'm like, is he gone? He's like, yes, ma'am. And I'm like, okay, okay. Uh, and our lives have been turned down upside down ever since.
Yeah.
Ah, he was found in a camper on that man's property all the way to the back. And he had been shot in the back of the head. It was a murder suicide. So I knew quite quickly, not that day, obviously, but early on, I had to get to work on all the things, every level of the system that let down that little boy
Yes.
to change it. And that's when Heidi and I started working together. um, he is missed every day. He's such a beautiful kid and funny too, like his mom. And I think in my grief journey, like I feel like I'm just starting to turn a point now where if I stay in the sadness, that's in this bucket. And if I try to look at the good, in this victory bucket. So
Yes.
do I want to fill my sad bucket or my victory bucket? So I'm trying to start living again.
It's rare that, uh, I'm at a loss for words, um, but there's nothing that I can say to you, of course, to make anything better for your loss. And, you've heard all these words before again and again, and in the end, although people care, I know the words are meaningless, you know? Um, my heart goes out to you
Thank you.
so much, Brandy, and I can't imagine the pain that you're going through and have been going through. And for our listeners, no, this was only, what, a year and a half ago?
It was last August 21st.
August 2024.
Yes.
Yes. So,
Oh, yes.
yes,
2,
yes.
yes.
So not even a year and a half now that you've been dealing with
Yeah,
this.
no. Yeah, no.
Um, and just a couple of things I wanna touch on. Um, when you were with the sheriff's department, when you drove up there and your husband had your son take you across the street to sit by the car, he told the sheriff this was gonna happen.
He did.
He
He
says,
did.
"This is what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of a murder-suicide." He said it to him.
He did. We've received some footage then, and my husband is standing in front of them saying, "This man has no job. He can't drive. He's a felon." Yep. And this is what he could he's going to do. He said, "She won't say it, but I know she's thinking it. We're scared to death about murder suicide."
Yes.
And that's exactly what he did. And
Mhm.
that sheriff just stood there like, mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like he could have cared less. Um,
No, I watched it.
yep. And then there's other body cam footage where they are searching the property or whatnot, and they're making fun of me
Yeah,
and calling me crazy.
I saw that also. I'm sorry to say. And that makes it so much harder to live with, to know that nobody was on your side at the time.
That makes me more. It does. Because I know he was alive when we went out there. I know we drove out there Monday night, but we didn't get out. Um, I know he was still alive within 8 hours of when he was found. So
Yes.
yes, he was alive during the motion. He was alive when they were doing wellness checks.
Also, something that I think our listeners should know is uh, Rowan's father, who committed this horrific murder-suicide, had burned all of his electronic devices
Yes,
beforehand. And we
yes,
don't know how long ago, if it was hours or days before, but he had destroyed everything, which to me, you know, says
premeditated.
premeditated act. He thought
Yeah,
about it and,
yes,
he dwelled on it for some time.
yes,
And then
yes.
I'll ask you about one more thing, and then we'll take a little bit of break, okay, and
Okay,
regroup a little bit.
okay.
But, I have a quote from you that I think is quite poignant, all right? And you had said that you had hoped that Rowan's father had some love for him, but that the hate that he had for you outweighed that love, or something to that effect,
Yeah, yes,
you
yes.
know?
Yep,
And that's what it was all about, because all of this, from the stalking, from everything, was about trying to control you.
yes.
And really, poor Rowan, from where I'm sitting, the first year and a half, he didn't give a shit about his son at all.
No, no.
It was about controlling you,
Yes,
being with you, trying to pull you back into his life in whatever crazy upside down fantasy world he lived in,
yes.
you know, because that's very obvious that this man was not right in the head. And,
No.
uh,
I do have a theory on that though too. I do believe because of that accident he was in 2018, broke
yes,
his back and his hip. He was on some heavy opioids
yes,
for sure. And he was found with them in his system.
right.
So, and with high amounts of them. And I knew he was on it from 2018 up until he passed. Well, that long-term use of opioids like that,
Oh, sure,
it's
absolutely.
gonna, yeah,
It's gonna fry his brains. But that, you know, that combined again with his desire to be with you, the rejection that he refused, which again, love quite often turns to hate very, very quickly, you know?
well, and try living with that fact too,
Yes.
as his mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what, girls? We'll take a quick break right here. We'll take a breath, all right? And we'll be right back in 2 minutes, everybody.
Okay.
So, due to our overwhelming popularity, thanks to you, our listeners, we are getting questions in from all over the place. The problem is, some come in over here, some come in over there. So what we've done, okay, is something new. We have question Travis today at gmail.com. Again, that's questiontravistoday@gmail.com, where you can send all your questions in, and I will do my best to answer them. Thank you so much for listening. It really means a lot to us. All the best, my friends. This is a 2024 American Eagle gold coin, which I bought along with several others last year. I'm very happy to report that its value has gone up over 40% in the first year. See, I was encouraged to buy some gold by a financial advisor friend who suggested I be more diversified with my investments. She said gold and silver was a very safe place to park some money, as well as a good hedge against inflation. So I took her advice, and all I can say is I wish I had bought more, as it's been so very, very good to us so far. Now, I purchased these gold coins from the good people over at stackingboise.com, who could not have been nicer, more knowledgeable, or more helpful. Now, I'm certainly no financial expert, but I will say from experience, if you're looking to make an investment, buy yourself some gold. And some real gold that you could hold in your hand, just like this coin you see here. And if you do, then do like I did and get with the good folks over at stackingboise.com. I'm telling you, they're good people, they took good care of me, and they'll take good care of you. Again, that's stackingboise.com. And hey, tell them Travis sent you. Hey there, true crime fans. Let me introduce you today to the Cold Case Initiative. The Cold Case Initiative is a foundation that donates money to smaller police agencies all over the country. It does this in order to offset the costs of scientific, forensic, and DNA testing with the hope of solving cold case homicides and other horrific violent crimes that otherwise would remain unsolved. Please, if you have it in your heart and a little money to spare, go to www.coldcaseinitiative.org. Again, that's www.coldcaseinitiative.org and lend a hand where it truly is needed. Be a part of solving a cold case. Every little bit helps. Know that 100% of the donations that go to the Cold Case Initiative go to agencies that are desperately in need of the help. So please, if you can, do the right thing and make a donation. Thanks, and all the best, my friends. All right, everybody, we are back, all right, with my friends Brandi and Heidi here. And Heidi, who hasn't said a word the entire time,
She
but
said
this,
her name.
what's that? She did say her name, okay. But this is kind of where you get more involved now, because we're going to talk about the Rowan Project, okay, and the great work that you're doing in your son's name, Brandi, and it is great
Yeah,
work. It's you've
yeah.
already. Well, I'm not going to talk about it because you're going to talk about it.
How
Okay.
about Heidi? Let you have some words and you describe it for
Okay.
us.
All right. So when Brandy was going through all this and she went to the police department and wanted to get an Amber Alert, they said that by law they could not do it because Rowan was with his father. There's also laws that if it's a special needs child, they can't do an Amber Alert or a runaway. And the Alert has not been amended for like 25 years since it started. No
Yes.
law changes whatsoever to help the kids. And so we have been lobbying in DC, the Michigan Capitol, um, and Brandy can kind of tell you the ladder that we've went to, but we're really close to having the Amber Alert amended, and it's gonna, save all of these Michigan children. And then we're going to go to the next level, and we're gonna try to get it nationwide. So,
Yes. Take it state to state. So it is called Rowan's Act, and it is House Bill 4517 and 4518, amending the Amber Alert system to include parental kidnapping, runaways, and special needs children.
Yes.
And then it will also push it onto the media immediately. News, social media, everywhere. And w- I've testified at the House Committee for child welfare, and it passed that committee with flying colors. Everyone voted yes, which I guess a lot of bills die in committee.
Yes.
We got past that, and then my husband and I can't remember what month it was. Um, it was right around just before August, before his birthday. We're asked to come to the House legislature for the House representative vote, and I've never. We walked in there in the legislature, sat down with Angela Regas and Jerry Nyer, the two representatives that have been working closely with us to make the House Rowan's Act. And I've never been so humbled in my grief journey. I couldn't believe this moment was surreal in a room where the House Speaker hit her gavel. And by the way, she's wearing orange, which we'll explain later. Um, and asked us to rise as she introduced us to the House. All the representatives in Michigan stood and clapped and cheered for us.
Yes.
I didn't know that was gonna happen. I didn't know any of this stuff. I looked at my husband, I'm like, "We're just beside ourselves." And then they go to vote. They just have a little button to hit green, and it's just all green, green, green up on the screen, and there's a lot of horrid pictures out there of me going
Yeah.
and then looking at my mom, and then over to my husband, and just I was hugged by so many state representatives that we were very happy that it passed that level. Now,
And you said it was unanimous, correct?
uh, y the committee was unanimous. The
Yeah.
House legislative vote had 1 no. Steve Carra, who doesn't have children, voted
Ah.
no
Hmm.
because he thought there'd be an uptick in in police in their jobs.
Well, here's something not to cut you off, okay? And
Okay,
this
go
is
ahead.
something that surprised me. Now, you and I met in September, so it actually would have been after the fact of this. We met in
Yes.
September, at a crime convention, and, I mean, I thought your story actually shocked me, and the most shocking part was that you could not get an Amber Alert. And here again, now Amber Alert is fairly new to me in that I've been retired for over 20 years, so it was a brand
Okay.
new thing at the time when I was still working.
Oh,
But
yes, it
I
was.
thought, okay, that it was automatic. Why in the world would
No,
you not issue an Amber Alert for anybody because it's not hurting anybody? The Amber Alert hurts no one. It
exactly.
puts no one at risk. It can only help, you know?
Imagine those first few moments of knowing your child is missing, being told it's almost impossible.
I don't understand that. I don't understand that one bit.
And now that we've gotten to this level, we're at the Senate committee where it's the Civil Rights Committee for the Senate.
Mhm.
And Heidi and I have already lobbied to Senator Stephanie Chang, who is the lead chair for that Senate, which is Democratic majority, and she's all on board.
Good.
So we will have the Senate vote after that, then the governor's sign.
Great.
So God willing, we're
And
getting
that will be
closer.
state law.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. Once we get through this, which, they were working on their budget for a little bit and they had to get past that to vote on all these other bills now.
But what I'm also very, very happy about is that you didn't stop at your state.
No,
You're
no,
looking to make this national, as you should.
I am.
Okay.
I am.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, we've had other states reach out to us. Arizona, I think Utah. I'm traveling to Tennessee next week. I'm going to take it there.
Mhm.
Um, because it can't become a federal law. This is a state to state how they
Correct.
want their own Amber Alert
Correct.
system. So each state will have to adopt it and make it their own.
Right.
I will go to each state then.
Please do. Yeah.
Absolutely. I am going to save children in my son's name. And
Mhm.
that's what's come from this. And we're not stopping at that, are we, Heidi?
We are not. We have a lot of things that we're gonna work on together.
Yes. Um,
This is tremendous, tremendous work that you ladies are doing. It really
Thank
is.
you.
And
yes. Thank you.
and again, there's nothing, I can ever do words. There's no words I can give you for sorrow. But, there's an old saying, I think it's like a Buddhist type saying, "Through the deepest, darkest mud grows the most beautiful lotus."
Aw.
Well,
And sometimes, through just the worst, darkest things possible,
Yes.
good things can come from them. And if you can stop dwelling on the bad and dwell like, put that in your bucket of good,
The bucket of good.
please,
Yes.
because you're
Yes.
doing great work and you may save hundreds, you may save thousands of lives. You don't know, you
We
know?
already have. Heidi, how many have we saved thus far?
8.
I think 8 kids.
Yes.
8 so
This
far.
Yep.
Yeah,
Families are
yep.
coming to us, and we are doing what it's necessary to get those kids out of a abusive home, and it
Our
feels good.
success rate is 8 for 8.
That's right.
Good. That's great. You're batting 1,000.
The crazy part of it is, it's mostly when they mention us. when they mention the Rowan Project, or they mention Rowan's mom, or they mention Rowan's name, CPS is involved. They know exactly who I am.
Yeah.
Yes.
And certain cases that have come to us, they weren't taking those people seriously until they heard we were involved.
Yeah.
Yes.
And moments like that is where I see he's living through this. And it gives me a little heaven hug. If and it helps. It helps. It's,
Oh, I believe it. I believe it. I believe it does. And
but
take some solace in the work that you're doing. I'm sorry, go ahead. You wanted to say something.
I think of it this way. God made me Rowan's mom for a reason,
Mhm.
because he knows I'm going to fix this and save his children.
Yeah,
And
that's a good way to look at it.
we're off to a good start.
Yeah.
No, that's great. You girls are really doing something good, and I'm just sorry that this is what, that Rowan had
Yeah.
to be the catalyst for it, but
Yeah.
you're doing something really, really good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We're not gonna stop. We're gonna change
Don't,
the world.
don't.
Rowan's gonna change the world.
Now,
Yes.
what can people, not only in Michigan, but in every state across the country, do to get involved with the Rowan Project?
Go to the rowanproject.org, look us up, especially if there's families that are going through similar things. We have a page of hotlines that they can look up. There's the biggest thing we want from our country is spread his story, because this is the biggest, most silent epidemic facing our children to this day.
Yes,
We lose at least 500 children a year to this,
yes.
and it's called filicide, parental or custodial murder.
Mhm.
I didn't even know what that was, and it had happened to my son. And I was on a Zoom call with other people and this other mother. So when this first happened to my son, I said to myself, this has to be the absolute worst thing that could happen to a human being. And then I met Hope Mater, and she lost both of her children.
Yes,
And then not long after that, Whitney Decker came along, and her story happened, and she lost all three of her beautiful daughters. People need to wake up and see that there are so many flaws in our system. And that's what the Rowan Project is going to do. We want to demolish friend of the court and just end it. They've
yes,
had their time. They've had their time. They're showing us they don't work. We're losing our children because of friend of the court system and judges and sheriffs that aren't educated enough in filicide, in domestic violence. Do you know if, okay, put it this way, say you have a relationship, one's violent, one's a victim, there's children, the victim gets away. Where does that leave those children?
yes.
Unsupervised with this abusive person. And what is this abusive person going to do now that they can't mentally, emotionally, and physically touch or get to their victim? They're going to use coercive control through the child, like that man did, shaving Rowan's hair, not letting him speak to me, all these things. And when you have a case through friend of the court and domestic violence is involved, do you know what you get? You get to have a sheriff in the room in case you feel uncomfortable.
Mhm.
That is all the recognition they give to mental, emotional, and physical abuse. And it's outrageous. And we're losing children day after day in our country alone to this massive epidemic called filicide. So Heidi and I are voices against filicide. And since this happened to Rowan, I've done tons of research. They're in Sweden, which I know they have a different population, but they don't have a friend of the court. They have a committee of professionals, lawyers, doctors, teachers, therapists that are making the decision that's going to happen to your child. Because that's who's important in your friend of the court case or your case.
Well, I'm gonna quote you again if you don't mind, okay?
Okay.
There's something else that you said in one of your previous interviews. I don't know if you're gonna get there, but I don't want you to miss it because, again, I thought it was quite poignant in
Okay.
that here in America, okay? And it's not something that I do not disagree with, so I don't
Mhm.
want anybody writing in that I'm disagreeing with how we operate here, okay?
Don't come at him.
But criminals get representation. Children do not.
Why would we not
Correct.
have a court-appointed attorney for every case for our most vulnerable children?
Well, and again,
And
for the child, and not for nothing, okay? I mean, I I'm 100% on your side in this story, but have a well-educated attorney that represents the child, not the mother or the father. Somebody that's well-versed and rehearsed in what's going on
exactly.
to represent the needs of the child so that when it goes before the judge, he can say, "Look, you know, there's always 3 sides of the story, his, hers, and in between lies the truth. Well, here in between lies a child, and we must protect this child." You know? And there's a thing, and I know it's here in New York, it has to be the same in Michigan, it has to be the same around the country, where back to what you were saying about if you have a violent person and a nonviolent person, and the violent person is out of the picture, where do the children go? Back to the violent person,
Yes.
because quite on I've seen this so many, many, many times, in my time in the police department, where the court always wants to put the children back with the families,
Yes.
which
Yes.
again, on paper, sounds like the right thing to do, but if your family is poison, it is the wrong thing to do.
How are they not considering these
I
factors?
don't understand it at
Be
all. I don't.
because all those factors they don't consider are now going to land on that poor child,
Yes.
and there's no one there to defend them.
Mhm.
You gotta get all this evidence. I did. I had it all. I took him to counseling, several different ones. He went to counseling at school. I did everything right.
Yes.
In fact, I'm the only one who didn't fail him.
Mhm.
So I'm out to change everything that did fail him. So since Sweden has that committee, they had it since 1976. They've lost 4 children. And I understand their population is different, but we lose 5 to 600 a year.
Yes. Yeah.
Uh, That's
The numbers
astounding.
are amazing, unbelievable.
So, front of the court needs to be dismantled completely.
Yep.
Start from the beginning, ground up, no judges. Like, you're out of the picture. It's not, what if he had a bad day? He didn't like blondes. He was prejudiced or just didn't like. Do you know how many times I was told, don't wear makeup, don't wear your hair down, don't wear this?
Yeah.
What fuck does it matter what I'm wearing?
Yes.
My kid matters.
Mhm.
It doesn't fucking matter. They're judging you no matter what. And look how prejudiced they were in my case. I was the crazy one
Mhm.
because I was scared to death my son was going to get killed, and he did.
Yes.
And there's more of me like that every single day, and it blows my mind. And so Heidi and I are working with people to start a national campaign, a filicide awareness campaign.
Yeah. And so,
Well, and
you know, we
I'm
base
glad you're together on I'm sorry, Heidi, go ahead.
oh, we just want people to go to our site, um, learn about filicide, share it with others. We want everyone to know what filicide is, so
Uh-huh.
they can, you know, get help. And with our organization, it's a nonprofit. We need help because we want to go to DC. We want to help these 8 families, these kids that needed some counseling. There's a lot of things that we want to do. We're just starting out, so any help that anyone could do is not only going to help spread awareness, but it's going to directly help these children that have been abused.
Or are
Well,
currently being abused.
Yeah,
and in the end, save lives.
right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We have big, big plans and a lot of heart and love to do it. Um, we want to educate. So Caden's Law started in Pennsylvania, and it's to educate the courts, FOC, CPS, sheriffs on all these kinds of abuse and things that have been happening to all of these parents, all these victims. It's just blows my mind. It's 2025 and we're still not addressing what's so awful.
Yeah.
So we're working as hard as we can.
Well, ladies, you're doing a great thing, and you've hit the ground running. Look at you. I mean,
Yes,
literally, in such a short amount of time, what you've gotten done,
within a
and
year.
within a
Yep.
year, and it's already a law in Michigan, and you're already have plans to go to Tennessee and several other states where your voice will be heard, okay? And maybe more judges or politicians will start wearing orange also. If you wanna
Yes.
before we go, tell
And
everybody
this
about
is
the
why.
orange. Yes.
This is why. Because he played PGA Junior and he had bright orange shoes and his little orange jersey.
He loved orange.
He he loved blue and orange, so he called it his blippy colors.
Yeah.
I hate orange, but now I'm stuck with it forever.
Yeah.
But it's for a good cause. It's for my babe.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, again, good luck, girls.
Thank you.
You've done such tremendous work.
Thank you.
I'm so proud to know you and to have met you. I really am. You really,
Thank you for
really are
having
doing
us.
great, and I look forward to seeing you again sometime.
You'll hear more from us. We'll keep you updated.
Very good. Please do.
Thank you so much.
All the best, ladies. Take care.
Yep. Bye.
What an awful and heartbreaking story. But as you just heard from this tragic, tragic event, some good is coming. Already to date, the Rowan Project has helped at least 8 children from possibly suffering the same fate as little Rowan. Please take a moment and look into the Rowan Project at therowanproject.org. Again, that's therowanproject.org. And see how you can help. Give a donation if you can. Every little bit helps. And that's it for this week. Until the next time, my friends, please remember to do the right thing. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, so we can keep bringing you important stories like this. Wherever you listen to podcasts, as well as on our new and improved Another Nobody YouTube channel. And as always, my friends, all the best. Hey, how you doing? Another nobody here, Travis Myers. This one's going out in particular to all my drinking friends out there, because I got a new favorite thing, and it's called Shanky's Whip, and it is magical. It's Irish whiskey mixed with a little caramel, a little cream, a little vanilla, and it's heavenly. What more can I say? I suggest you pick up a bottle. You can have it as a shot with a cold beer, like I like. On the rocks, it's great. Mix it with a little cola. I promise you, you're going to love this stuff. Next time you raise a glass, think of me, another nobody, Travis Myers. Hey, do the right thing. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more of my nonsense. All the best, my friends.
Buy our books!
Listen up. This one's important. I'd like to try to encourage you, please, to give to the Stephen Siller Foundation, Tunnel to Towers, at T2T.org. That's letter T, number 2, letter T.org. Do good for those who've done good for you.